Hello everyone, and welcome to the instructions for your research assignment, the semester-long research or term paper. This course is History 1302, the second half of the course, starting after the American Civil War and going through the present day. Your assignment is to research and write a term paper covering a topic that we will discuss this semester. This topic must be approved by me, so I would like you guys to send me an email with your research paper topic sometime in the next week. Some examples of what you can use for your research paper: American expansion, the expansion of the West. You could do the takeover of the Kingdom of Hawaii. You can do the Gilded Age. You can do World War I, World War II. I do ask if you do one of the wars that you split it, break it down, maybe do like the causes of the war, like the causes of World War I or the causes of World War II, or a specific leader. The wars are just too in-depth and too much. People write thousands and thousands of pages on these wars. It's very hard to do, the amount of work necessary to do it justice. The Cold War, the Civil Rights era, the Reagan Revolution, the Vietnam War, or a biography. Biographies are always good. They're usually easier because in most cases it's from birth to death and then everything in the middle. So that's usually a very good place to start. The length of the term paper is supposed to be about 5 to 7 pages of text. This is a summer course, a quick course. We don't have time to do a 20-page or a 12-page paper. I like to keep it 5 to 7 pages. That way it's easy for you to write and it's easy for me to grade. Now this 5 to 7 pages is just text. That does not include your title page, your footnotes or your endnotes, and the bibliography. This is only the text of the paper. The paper should also be double-spaced, typed in Times New Roman 12-point font. I will check the fonts. You will be sending me an electronic copy of this, so don't try to make your paper longer by doing Arial size 13 or Times New Roman 12.5. I want it Times New Roman 12-point font, everyone the same font. That way it's easy to read and compare to everyone else. Since this is a research paper, you are going to have to use citations, and the citation format that we use in history is called the Chicago Manual of Style, CMS. This is the guideline for citing sources in history and a few other of the social sciences or arts, as they used to be called. This is essentially footnotes or endnotes. This is what we mean by Chicago Manual of Style. If you choose to use MLA or APA in-text citations, that's up to you, but you will not receive full credit for the assignment. Chicago Manual of Style is the only appropriate form of citation for history classes. This means you will have a bibliography, not a works cited page. This will be at the very end of your paper. You should title it Bibliography, not works cited, and you should follow the format that I will give you. Now, the format that I want you to use, you don't have to look up the Chicago Manual of Style. You don't have to look up the Turabian style, which is the same thing. I will give you a mandatory style sheet for term paper research and organization. It will be in Canvas in this section, in the research assignment section. I want you to get that, print it off, and use that as your guideline for the entire paper. Now, how many sources do you need? Well, you are required to have 5 book sources that are approved by me, and at the same time you send me your topic, you will send me book sources. Now, these book sources can be physical books that you get from the library. They can be electronic journals that you get from the library databases, but they must be a valid research tool. They must be signed articles, and they must have some kind of citation method, either footnote or endnote. Do not use Wikipedia. Students do this. I've got a student or two that does this every semester. Wikipedia is not a legitimate research website, and it is not accepted in most academic classes. Now, there's some professors that allow it, but I am not one of those people. The reason why is simple. Anyone can update Wikipedia and change information. If you're using an academic journal or a book, that's not something that can be easily updated and bad information put in. So you should stay away from Wikipedia. You should also stay away from online sources that don't have a signature and also don't have some kind of citation method, because that information, there's nowhere to track and understand where you got that bad information. And here's the thing about source citation. If you put something in your paper that's wrong or questionable and you cite it well, and I go back and look it up and it's in this book and it's a legitimate book, you get the benefit of the doubt. If you put something in your paper that's crazy, absolutely historically inaccurate, and I look it up and find that the site is from some alternative history or some historical fiction site. Some people do that. They go and look up Civil War blah blah blah, and what ends up happening is it pulls up some historical fiction. They read it and use it in their paper. That's the information's wrong. I can look it up and be like, no, that's not quite right, but at least I see what they did. So it's very important that you let me know where you're getting your information, not only because of that, but also because you have to give your sources credit for the material that you use. Again, we all know how I love these little e-cards, and this one is funny, but also very important. In this course, I don't judge people based on race, creed, color, or gender. But I will most definitely judge people based on spelling, grammar, punctuation, and sentence structure. It is very important in a college-level research paper that you use proper English. And some people will come to me at the end of the semester and say, I don't understand why you took points off because I had bad spelling, or I had grammar issues, or I didn't punctuate well, or I had run-on sentences. And the deal is, at this level of education, you should know how to write a polished research paper without these type of errors. And so I do count 25% of the paper is style, and this includes spelling, grammar, punctuation, and sentence structure. Now, why is this important? Well, you have to be able to convey your message in a clear and accurate way. And if you don't, then we can't understand what you're saying. For example, punctuation. Punctuation errors in a sentence can completely change how a sentence comes about, what it means. And so you have to be careful that you're using commas in the correct place, that you are using end punctuation, like periods, where they need to be. And so this is one element of the course. Now, the grading criteria of the paper. 25% of the paper is content, meaning the historical elements of the paper. 25% is style, so that is your grammar, spelling, punctuation, whether you used a title page, whether you presented a clean text. 25% of your paper is citations, meaning your footnotes or endnotes. If you don't provide any kind of documentation, any kind of citations, 25% of your paper comes off the top. So be mindful of that. And if you do use MLA, please note that citations will be hit very, very hard. In fact, I think the most I ever give for MLA documentation is 5 or 10 points. So if you want the full 25% for this element of the rubric, you must do it in Chicago Manual style footnote or endnote format. Finally, a bibliography is 25%. If you provide me a works cited page in works cited format, again, the same thing. You might earn 5 or 10%, but you will not earn the full amount of the assignment. So it is very important, if you want to do well on this assignment, that you follow directions and you use Chicago Manual. And I will post a video or two helping you with Chicago Manual along with the mandatory style sheet. The due date for this assignment for both sections, section 3115 and 3120 of my online U.S. History 2 courses, is Monday, August 7th at 11:59 p.m. Please note this assignment is not eligible for makeup. You cannot turn it in late. So after Monday, August 7th at 11:59, unless you have a documented excused absence that covers the time period that this is due, you will not be able to turn this in for credit. It will be an automatic 0. So please keep this date in mind. It is very important.